Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. I'm going to talk about a brand new response that came from the SEC in regards to the Ripple case. It's interesting because it really reveals what they're afraid of and also what it is they are trying to do to get an upper hand on this case. And then we're going to talk about FlareFinance. In 12 hours from now, there is something really big happening, and I want everyone to be ready to go into the DeFi space on day one that the Flare mainnet is launching, and that will be probably May or June. But this is a chance to get your feet wet and practice and have some fun in this competition. And yeah, they're even going to give out some XRP, some Litecoin, and some Dogecoin as well. So I think there's going to be just a lot going on in that space for 2 weeks, starting in about 12 hours. And I'll cover a little bit of that. And also, Matt Hamilton, who is now with the Ripple X as his full-time job. He had a live stream, the first of a series that's coming out. David, the CTO of Ripple, was a guest. It was so interesting to hear his take on the XRP Ledger. And there were a couple other guests too as well that were very, very interesting. So we'll cover that. But first, I want to talk about the letter that came, and Attorney James Filan, let's hope I got that correct this time. Last time I said Filan, I think he laughed if that wasn't correct. So I'm going to go with Filan this time. So at Filan Law on Twitter tweeted the letter out from the SEC to the Honorable Annalisa Torres. She is the district judge in the Southern District of New York, presiding over the Ripple case. Let's have a closer look at the first page. You can see that in this first paragraph, it says that the SEC respectively wants to remove the lack of due process and fair notice from the defense. And Jeremy, who I think everyone should be really familiar with. He is the attorney that has his own practice down in Florida. He's keeping an eye on this, and he's updating us through his really good videos with valuable opinions, his feedback and explanation. He was just on his way to bed, but did make a few comments, and I want to show you those comments because, well, it's always super valuable to hear his take on what's going on. So first, this is what he said. You attack first what you are most scared of. And James, in this case, agreed with him. Secondly, Jeremy said that if the court agrees to take this out of the defense, that would really suck for Ripple. And yeah, suck, he said, is a legal jargon, of course. I love his sense of humor. The SEC wants to remove this fair notice because they are worried about it, he writes. It would be a blow to Ripple, though, if it was removed. And the third comment was the SEC wants it done quick because there are facts they don't want to come out in discovery. Jeremy also said that we would probably know this decision in a month or two. It really depends on how fast Judge Torres decides to move. So the SEC doesn't want Ripple asking them questions or looking at documents related to how they've treated other cryptocurrencies and, of course, I'm sure other issues. Jeremy just shot a video a couple hours before he was going to bed. He was going to upload that tomorrow, and then he said he'll probably attack this particular letter on Saturday. And I am sure we are all looking forward to that development. He has a channel on YouTube. It's called Legal Briefs, and I just can't imagine anybody watching this video doesn't know about him. And if you didn't catch his last video, it's really interesting because there are techniques that you use to frame circular arguments. And watching his video, he illustrates this through examples of how that technique is used by the lawyers in court. And it's interesting because he said you can use some of those techniques at home too as well. All right, let me circle back to James Filan at Filan Law. This gentleman is a defense lawyer and former federal prosecutor, and he found something that he mentioned in a tweet shortly after the suit was filed, and it relates to the FinCEN Ripple agreement that they settled on in 2015. So he's circling back to what is called a preclusion claim. And what that means is a preclusion claim is really something that is to prevent a party from relitigating a claim once a court has issued a final judgment on that claim. So it's trying to streamline the process of law. Now remember, FinCEN, the government body in the United States, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network Bureau of the U.S. Department of the Treasury, fined Ripple for not registering as a money service business. And they did so because they said that the guidance that they gave in March 2013 wasn't followed. And so they reached a settlement. There was a fine. There were some other remedies too that had to be done. And that was something that was agreed upon in 2015. And in that actual original violation, you can see here that XRP was deemed a convertible virtual currency known as XRP. So a convertible virtual currency, or CVC as it is sometimes referred to, is defined as an unregulated virtual currency that has the ability to act as a replacement for real or legal currency. So this is why I think that there is so much belief that Ripple is on the high ground, because this has already once been defined by a government agency. And that agreement was signed. You know, it sets forth all the terms to be valid by the government. You can see how all those signatures appear here, and that's what it says. Now, the reason that the claim preclusion is something that is interesting is because there is a very good document written by attorney Joel de Jesus, and he talks about it as being, you know, the prevention to create this duplication of re-litigating issues that have already been fully litigated. Mr. de Jesus is currently a trial attorney at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission in Washington, D.C. And Mr. Phelan, you know, I think is just using common sense, which I can totally see why he is highlighting this published article. So when he states that they're dealing with two federal agencies and the federal government is usually treated as one big G, as he calls it, the question is, will the Ripple team argue that there was sufficient privity, which means a close relationship between the SEC and FinCEN, to make this preclusion argument valid? And it's very interesting that he's bringing this up. I'm hoping Jeremy can also do some research or comment on this, because you can see in order to find privity, the court must determine that the parties in the two actions are really and substantially in interest the same. Really have and substantially in interest the same. Well, anyway, so do the FinCEN body of government and the SEC body of government have the same interest? Yeah, of course. Of course. And there are some other additional components to make sure that you can get that to stick, but that's where Jeremy has to chime in, because he is the expert. And you can see that in the FinCEN finds Ripple Labs in that first civil enforcement on the website, it refers to XRP as a virtual currency 10 times on this one page. So I think anybody with a half a brain would have the knowledge of this. So I think that you would just, yeah, I don't see how you could say that the SEC didn't know what FinCEN had said in their settlement. Yeah, let's see what Jeremy has to say on Saturday. All right, attorney John Deaton needs your help. He needs help from the XRP community to further along the case that he's working on against the SEC. If you're aware of any use case of XRP that doesn't involve or depend on Ripple, please describe that independent utility by replying to his tweet in this thread. So you can find John, who is really representing the entire community who holds XRP, is at John Deaton1 on Twitter. And as you can read through this thread, there are hundreds of examples that utilize XRP without relying or depending on Ripple. And yeah, this thread is completely interesting all on its own. All right, FlareFinance. Well, they've got something really big happening in about 12 hours. You're going to find that a beta contest is going to begin. And, you know, we all have to be very good at being able to get off the starting blocks from day one to maximize our rewards when the mainnet goes live for Flare Network. So this is a way that you can do it. It's going to last for 2 weeks. You just have to set up a new wallet, and trust me, I set up the first wallet. If I can do it, I know you can do it. And you'll find that you will be able to have a chance to win some really cool Samurai NFTs also. Has a custom card and a custom video and a soundtrack, and it's an NFT that actually pays you because you can stake it. Yeah, 1% of the team's profits will come back to you. So what you need to do is you have to go to the Discord channel. I could send you directly to the Medium article, but I think the best way to go is find the FlareFinance on Discord, because there are all the links and additional chats going on with people. And usually 9 times out of 10, you can read through a chat, and the same questions you have are what other people have and are being answered. So you can go to the general chat, and then you can also find the link to the open beta contest details, where it has the DYFLRs, so that you can add those to the addresses in MetaMask. You'll be able to play with this in a way that will be bringing you up to speed on being totally ready to be able to participate and get real value, real tokens, real money when the mainnet goes live. And there's also a really good beta general chat under the FlareFinance, which I was in there having some conversations, and just people are so nice. So, you know, I think there is no question that would go unanswered, and do give it a try. All right, everybody, we're also, yeah, I wanted to talk about, you know what, let me go back for a second. I want to talk about Matt Hamilton. It's right here. Yeah, this was interesting. It was in a really bad time for me, like 4 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't watch it live, but you can still watch it because it's got a link to the Twitch website. And Weedsy Wind showed some new features of the Sum app. And then Shay came on. She's a senior data scientist at Ripple. She was formerly with Uber. And they're analyzing volume dynamics on the ledger. Interesting data for sure, because it's got a lot of different activity going on. And then Adam from Oregon, he is on a project that's bringing blockchain to everyone, and it's through his website called GFAM. You can create, share, and earn. It's a website that dynamically monetizes content. You'll find it at gfam.live, and it's powered with Sum and Coil. And then David, aka Joe Katz, of course, was there and got everybody up to some really good aspect, not too technical. I was afraid we were going to be like looking at lines of code. Don't worry, we weren't. He talked about the technical journey, however, from the early days, like from starting at 2011, 2012, when it was just he, Jed, and Arthur. And this is, I think if you really pay attention to what Joel has to say here, you're going to be very qualified to talk about the ledger. And I'm going to bring this up in another subsequent video, because this one's running a little long, on a feature that he talks about, and it's all about how you can change the access to an address, you know, the permissions to get in, the keys, without, you know, you can turn that address over to someone. So I want to talk about that in a future video. But now, for now, I want to just say congratulations to Matt for having a great first live, and this is going to be a series that keeps occurring. I don't know how long for sure. It feels like this is one of 4 sessions, but I don't know, maybe there's going to be more. I think it's very, very good. All right, we're jumping to the fluff, everyone. I want to tell you that Tokyo has a very, very cool planetarium, and it's constantly changing the screenings. And there are actually 2 domes. One is for the visual themes and presentations that they do. Sometimes it's sky, sometimes it's underwater. And the other one is for sound, where they have a lot of concerts. Each performance or show is usually about 40 minutes long. Prices are very fair. You know, for the quality, it's less than $15 for adults and under $10 for children. And you can see there are some very cool setups in there. So not only do they have the chairs, but they have these kind of premium seats where you can really get reclined and enjoy the show. And of course, with cherry blossom season, they're going to start a cherry blossom Sakura virtual event that will be in the dome. And I'm sure it's great. I mean, how could you not enjoy being surrounded by all those beautiful flowers? And then when you do come to Tokyo, there's one more reason why you would come, and that is to visit the largest Starbucks in the world. And that is just on the neighborhood next door to me, called Nakameguro. And they are a roastery that serves something very special. And it's very special because it is the stone ground matcha. It's called Ishi Usu. And this is an 800-year-old tradition that uses a stone mill or a stone way to grind down the tea, the stems, the leaves, everything to this fine powder. And then you can enjoy something that just tastes out of this world. They've been doing this traditional way of preparing matcha since the 12th century. And this is what you'll get at the end. It is a matcha latte. Oh, gosh, this just sounds perfect for me right now. It is 6:40 p.m., and that's a perfect time for like a second cup of coffee. And then if you're interested in that roastery, it is just fabulous. Kenga, the architect, did his magic. He is the firm that created the stadium for the Olympics here, but he's world class. He's got projects that he's done all over the world, and his signature is to use a lot of beautiful, beautiful wood. But this particular roastery is unbelievable, and I'll put a link to it Yeah, the copper cask is a cherry blossom, ode to cherry blossoms here. I'll put a link to it. You can see it. It's multi-stories, and they do have just one floor that all it serves is tea. And they also have, I don't know if you've seen this before. They serve a cold. This is a cold. This is a chocolate on top, but it's like a beer, but it's not. It's cold coffee, but in the form of like a cocktail. But of course, it doesn't have any alcohol in it. Anyway, this is really a fun location. It has a great deck to it also, and lots of different themes. And then it's got that cast that goes all the way up through the middle. It's really a special location. Anyway, I'll put a link to this in the description below, and that's all I have for you today. So do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.